It's a nice little boat. So what was your question, John?
Yeah, so I was just saying I found it really interesting watching you go through the process after you bought your boat and just how much work you had to do to get it ready for the trip up to Myrtle.
Yeah. Well, and like
today we're going to listen in to John Winslow, owner of a 1986 Catalina 34 Mark II, and Tony Edwards, owner of Dreamweaver, a Catalina 387 2004, talk about and discuss what they had learned about the boat buying project and what every potential boat owner should know before they actually go out and buy a boat, or what they should know what's going to happen once they buy the boat. What do they do next? So let's listen in and see if we can get some tips. 7 different things you need to know before you buy a boat.
The process was I bought a boat that I was only on once and went out and surveyed sea trial just like you did. And so I was, wasn't really afraid. That was a long distance. I mean, I looked, it was 755 nautical miles. It was a long distance. So I was trying to think about, Tom said, well, this is okay and that's okay. But the first thing I did is I took the survey and I tried to go through the survey. Everything he said, you need to change out the batteries and come to the end of the line.
Right.
And then I looked at the batteries, and it was about $2,000. And I'm going, oh God, but it's okay because I don't want to break down. And then I said, well, I might as well do the start battery, might as well do it all. Check all the cables and that kind of thing. And then the hatch dog, when he told me those hatch dogs break off sometimes because they're epoxy, I'm thinking if we're going and the hatch dog breaks off and then it rains, we're going to have a boat full of water. So sure enough, while I was in there, it was so hot, I opened up when the hatch dog, sure enough, it broke off. You can't put them back without getting that little kit. So I tried to do everything that I saw that I thought was necessary. I figured the bilge pump was probably okay. It looked a little old. I replaced it. And then I also bought spares just in case. So I replaced that one, replaced the switch, and we bought an extra one just in case. I didn't have an extra alternator. I thought about it quite a bit, but I didn't do it. Alternator seemed to be good. So we bought the generator. And so I thought if I could find that plug, which Tom gave it to me, where I could plug in the back of the boat, bring a twist lock, 30, and then I could run that into the generator. At least we could charge the batteries with the generator. Now, we never needed it, but it was on there if we did. And I made sure to have fuel for it. Just like the dinghy, I had to go find a dinghy because I didn't want to make the trip without one and be stuck on the boat without being able to go to shore somehow if we got stuck out somewhere. So I bought the dinghy and all that stuff, and then we had to buy the outboard. So I and get it all put on there, and then I had to go down and put the dinghy together and all that stuff. So we did it about 5 times. It was 14 hours one way.
Wow.
And it was quite a commitment. And I would go and stay about 3 days, and I stayed in a motel. I didn't stay in the boat. And but I was just afraid. What I see so many people do, because one of my other friends did, is they buy a boat and they think it's got to look pretty and prim. They got the wife, and the wife says the boat's kind of nasty, we need to clean it up. And they concentrate on making it pretty instead of making it safe and dependable. And so that's what I did. And just like you did work too to this boat before you got going. And I didn't want to waste you guys' time because I knew time was extremely valuable. And I didn't want to waste y'all time when we were stuck somewhere working on the boat for 3 or 4 days. I didn't want to do it. So I was nervous, just like you was. I was afraid something might be breaking. But I replaced the VHF radio. I got an AFL. I mean, I did everything I could possibly think of. So basically, I guess, not to ramble anymore, but somebody's buying a boat. They're in the same position that me and you were. best thing to do is if you're going to move that boat a distance, I'd say 100 nautical miles or so or more, then make sure it's mechanically sound before you leave. Check fluids, belts, everything you can think of, extra impeller, buy all the extra stuff that you can before you make that boat.
Right, yeah. And that's what I did too. I mean, I got a new impeller.
Yeah.
Of course, after I bought it, I found one.
Yeah, yeah.
There was an extra pressed water pump on board. And, you know, even though I'm super cheap, I decided to hire a mechanic. One, the mechanic had been maintaining this boat for years and just go through everything with him. And like, I've worked on engines, but I've never owned a diesel. So I didn't even know how to clean a diesel. So he showed me, just gave me some tips. I think it was money well spent.
Oh, absolutely. And then just like the Hurricane had flown the TV antenna off and the anemometer. So I got in contact with the rigging company and I just said, come over there, you know, if you can work it in equals able to. And I said, put my anemometer back up and my TV antenna. I mean, I'm not really worried about the TV antenna. It's not that big a deal, but why he's up there. And I said, while you're here, check my standard rigging. And, you know, go over the rigging and tell me if it's something the surveyor may have missed. And you're going to be at the top.
Yeah.
So look at all my shackles, my pins, you know, all safeties. And just can you go over it for me? And he did. And he came back with it. He said, your rigging's great. It's fine. Everything's good. Got it all put up there. And that was great. So even though you have to spend extra money that sometimes you think, is it really worth it? It is, just from the stress level to be down and to make sure you're going to be safe. So, yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, and I did the same. So, of course, they look at the standing rigging in the initial survey, but only from the deck.
Right.
And so the trip before this, I hired a rigger to come out. I thought it was a little expensive. I mean, he was on the boat maybe an hour and a half, and it was like $600. But I did not want to take off on this trip questioning my standing rigging.
Yeah.
And while he said it's old, he said, you know, it'll get you to Myrtle Beach. So to me, that was worth it.
And the prices are all over the place. Now, Gulf Stream, rigging Gulf Stream, I don't know. We got it. We'll put it in the comments down below. But in Florida, I mean, he charged me. He sent two guys there, went up, bolted all that stuff on, ran the wire all the way down the backstay for my TV antenna, and checked out my rigging for $180. Which, man, so if you're in Florida, you need somebody. Man, just check the comments. I'll put the link. And he is fabulous too. He was so nice. I mean, he was really nice. And I tipped him. I'm going around, dude, so no way you can send two people of it. He said, well, it didn't take us but about an hour and a half.
Wow.
And I'm going like, man, I'm done.
That's a good,
you know. And he was really, really nice. Jumped right on it. He said he was really busy putting up masts from the hurricanes and everything. But he came over because he knew I was under the ground. You know, we were leaving. So we only had like 2 days.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was good. So if you're buying a boat, do your due diligence. Hire some professionals to help you out, give you some assurance. Change out as much stuff as you can and get as much backup. You'll be great.
Next episode on Dreamweaver
some grab rails back on the bimini on the sides to hold the bows apart and to give you a little place to grab onto if you were standing up or anything. It's kind of cool kit to sell right